Back on Buckeye Football Weekly for the start of the second half. And, Coach, you win at 3-2 against an Akron squad that's, hanging around there. And obviously, it gets a little worrisome when teams hang around on you.
That's an Akron squad that went to NC State last year and beat them when NC State let them hang around. So the discussions at halftime were, our defense feeling like they had momentum and they were going to be able to take care of their part. And our offense was talking a little bit about, hey, we better start executing and take care of that football and make sure we have a better second half because, the Hall of Famers are here, the people that got inducted in the Hall of Fame. And so you're in front of the greatest of all times at Ohio State. You better play better.
This is true. And just in case you missed it, being in the dressing room, here you go. Pete Johnson out there with Gene Smith.
Yep. Marv Holman, the great SID. It's just a tremendous thing. And it's a weekend that they'll all remember. And it was both the men's and the women's Hall of Fame. And here comes James Laurinaitis trying to get in the Hall of Fame himself there, banging on that Akron quarterback.
Loss of 10, and I tell you, the defense came out and picked up just right where they left off. That's Golston. And, 2 sacks in a row, loss of 15 yards, set up another punt, and wearing out the Akron punter sets a record for most punts in a game for his school, 14.
Nice little throw out there to Brian Hartline, and we're back in the gun here. Todd finds Dane Sanzenbacher, and we're moving the ball down the football field pretty well here, showing a little consistency, but stalled again and had to call on Ryan Pretorius. Unfortunately, Ryan has been solid.
Yeah, Ryan knocks it through 33 yards on the field goal, and they've all gone through for him. Nice fashion, 6-2. Now the count, Ohio State, a couple of insurance runs they've picked up there.
Here we ran a little misdirection pass there, and they'd been kind of sitting on our outside receiver, so we ran a corner route with the inside receiver, and Todd found Brian Robisky, and then here Beanie Wells came around the corner and got darn close to getting into the end zone. And then we had a penalty, unfortunately, that shows you that inconsistency. And Todd found Brandon Sane for a nice touchdown pass. And it was good to see Brandon get in the end zone.
Yeah, 3rd and goal from the 6. And, Todd took a hit there and stood in, but the play is designed like that to be dropped off. And Sane in the end zone for a nice lead of 13-2 at this point.
And Robbie Schoenhoff jumped in and got some reps there. His receivers were covered, so he tucked it away. And this time he threw a ball there. Heck of a catch by Brian Robisky. And Robbie threw it right where we needed it. It was either ours or nobody's. And it was good to see Robbie throw that one in there.
Well, right on the cut as well as Robisky turns around there. Pick up 16 on that play. And now the defense back again. Dennis Kennedy finds himself in the backfield, loss of 2.
Our guys were putting some pressure on them, and they alternated their quarterbacks a little bit as we continued to chase them around. Cameron Hayward ends up with James Laurinaitis and Dexter Larimore, Nader Abdallah chasing after him, and the fans sure liked it when the sun came back out and they got to cheer a little bit, and we started running the ball a little bit better there. You see Beanie Wells bouncing off some tacklers, and it was good to see his shoulder square to the goal line, and he came back, and again another square-shouldered run there, and our guys up front knocking them loose there, and I think Beanie had, 70 yards in this drive himself.
Yeah, and ends up with 143 on the day, so that's an important drive for him. 24 and then 41 on back-to-back plays, and then you go up top.
Brian Robisky on the touchdown catch, and again, good protection and a good route by Brian Hartline underneath Brian Robisky, and opened him up and touchdown. And here's our defense again, building a wall, making them running sideways, and we need to really keep getting better defensively because that Washington offense is going to be a challenge.
Larry Grant inspired by being in the Buckeye Profiles, I guess, this week. Throws Kennedy for a loss here and then back Schoenhoff to pass.
Robbie took off running a little bit there and fumbled the football. And, it's something that we have got to get to the point where, that doesn't happen. We gave him the ball. Our defense did a good job, though, coming up and getting after him there. Jamari O'Neal ended up getting a turnover himself, took it right out of his hands and lost his helmet, but got the ball.
That's a good trade-off. Leave the helmet, take the ball, and he strips it to get the turnover. First turnover of the season, so that'll help the margin a little bit. But back on offense now. And
Robbie found Brandon Smith there, and then Robbie's back to pass again and does a good job throwing it in there to Torian Washington, and we're trying to move the chains here.
Yeah, get a couple of first downs complete there at the end of the game and get a couple of fresh guys in there. As you did, you were able to get all 3 quarterbacks in there again. But, the turnover thing has got to bug you a little bit. You don't want that complacency feeling that you're getting away with wins while still turning the ball over as many times because it will catch up.
Well, it bugs us a lot a bit, not just a little bit. And there's no way we can go to Seattle and compete with the Huskies if we turn the football over. And on the defensive side, we got to come up with some turnovers. Our defense did a great job putting them 3 and out. I don't know that their offense was on the field enough to turn it over because we kept turning them away and sending them back to the sideline. But we've got to get much better at taking care of the football. And then if our defense keeps hitting the way they're hitting, those takeaways will come.
Well, they're getting them in long, down and distance situations where the percentages go way up in how they play. What do you focus on this week? Obviously, because you've got you got improvement to worry about. You've got a big road trip to worry about across the country, 3 time zones.
Well, you know, the reality of it is this: we're going to have 4 tough Big Ten away games, 3 of which are at night, and 1 is in the Big House. So what a great opportunity for us to travel across the country and see if we can compete in a loud stadium like Washington's against a team that's coming along and they're veteran and they've shown that they can win football games. This is exactly what we need at this point in time, is to find out if we're road warriors, because if we're going to compete in the Big Ten, we're going to have to be.
All right, we find out next week. You can tune in right here and catch the highlights for it. For head coach Jim Tressel, I'm Jeff Hogan. Thanks for joining us. We are back to wrap up this and talk a little bit more about the Washington Huskies coming up right after this.